Hi, Shannon. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about how to actually make money while you are buying and trying new products. And it's really very simple, but it's going to be a challenge for you. And we don't get anywhere in life without challenges from other people, without challenging ourselves. And so this is one of those cases where you just have to take the reins and take responsibility for what you're doing and for your actions and for your finances. And you have to challenge yourself to follow standards that you require of yourself. Okay, so it's really pretty easy. There's basically two rules. And so I'm going to tell you the rules and then I'm going to explain to you what I mean by them. Okay, so the first rule is that you do not purchase anything unless you use cash for it. You don't put anything on credit cards, use your ATM card. ATM cards, a debit card is cash. It means you have the money in your account that you can afford to pay for the item. So you only spend cash. That's rule number one. Rule number two, and this is the one that's going to get you all kind of in a fluster, is that you are only allowed to buy something if you have enough money to buy 3 of them. Cash. Okay? So this is where you're going, okay, I get the pay cash only part, but why do I need to buy 3? Okay, well, you're not actually going to buy 3. You are going to buy 2. Here's the situation. If it's a product that you really, really need or want that badly, and you have the cash that you can afford to buy it, then that's great. That's a step in the right direction as far as it being okay to purchase it. So that's part number one. So you have to have the cash to be able to afford to buy it for yourself. But you need the cash to be able to buy 3. So what are the other 2 for? Well, the second one is that you also need to purchase one for a friend. And so now you're not just purchasing it, you're not just buying it for a friend just to give yourself the excuse to buy it for yourself. You are buying it for a friend to set aside for, their birthday's coming up maybe, or some kind of an anniversary, or, it's for your mother for Mother's Day, or you're setting it aside for a Christmas present that you know that you're going to need. Basically what you're doing is you're knocking out future expenses by buying it now while it's probably an affordable price. It's probably might be one of the things that's caught your attention anyway. And you're just going to set it aside for the occasion that you know that you need it for that's coming up. Now, why is that important? Well, for a lot of reasons. First of all, it's a good way to decide whether it's a product that you really need or not, or that you really want that badly. Because, firstly, if you can't think of anybody else that you know of that would use it, then you probably don't need it either. So if it's something and you can't think of a single friend or a single family member or anybody else that would enjoy it too, then you don't need it. There's a reason for that. And, there are some of us that are very individualistic. We have a very strong an unusual style, and that's okay, and it might be different from your friends and family, but the reality is if they wouldn't be able to use it in some way, then you probably don't look good in it either. Even in your individual style, it's probably a product you just need to pass on. So that's the first thing. If you can't think of anybody else that can use one too, then just pass on it. You don't need it. The next part of that is that ultimately you're going to save money later on, because if you think about the holiday season in particular, people put themselves in really bad financial situations around the holidays. And the reason they do that is because they don't plan ahead. And what you'll find people will do is they'll try to take like one whole paycheck out of the month. Most people only get 2 paychecks a month. So they'll try to take like the whole paycheck right before, at the beginning of December, and use that towards their Christmas presents. you know, they've waited till the last minute. It's going to be expensive. So they, you know, they take this whole paycheck and they blow it. Well, then what happens? Well, then there's kind of a downward spiral starts to happen. Then all of a sudden bills start popping up that you can't afford because you used the whole paycheck all at one time. And so what do you do with those bills? Well, some of them you might put on your credit card because some of them can be paid with credit cards. So now you've got credit card debt that you didn't plan for, and that's going to have interest on it. And so you see what's happening. Or else the rent comes up and all of a sudden you don't have money for rent. So then people go to check into cash places, which are the worst thing ever. I mean, in my mind, they should, plain and simple, they should be illegal. They shouldn't exist. So, you know, they do that, and then they're basically giving a company access to their bank account, and then, you know, the money comes in, and that company has the opportunity to take it at whatever point that they would like to. You know, bad idea. So the whole point is that rather than put yourself in that position, spend a little bit over the year as you have it, when you do have the money, and save yourself the hassle later on at the end. Because that benefits you in two ways. One, it benefits you financially because you're not putting yourself in a bind at the end of the year that's then going to downward spiral into something you can't get yourself out of. Secondly, it's also going to cause you to give better gifts because you're going to put more thought into it. You're not just buying something because you've got to get something and, you know, you've looked around the store 20 times and so you're just going to get this because you haven't seen anything you like. You're actually going to be buying things for them that you think they would enjoy or that would suit them. So your gifts are going to be better. But ultimately, the entire point is that if you can't think of another person who would enjoy it, you don't need to buy it for yourself. Okay? Now, thirdly, you'll remember that I told you that you need to be able to have enough money to buy 3. Well, what's the third one for? Well, you're not actually going to buy 3. You're only going to buy 2. But what you're going to do is with the cash that you have for the third one, you are going to go directly to the bank and you are going to invest that money into a savings bond. Okay, now the reality of that part is that you need to check out your local banks and see what kind of deals they have for savings bonds. Educate yourself on that. Why a savings bond? Well, a savings bond is the most guaranteed form of savings that we currently have out there. Everybody has seen what happens to 401ks and pension plans and retirement plans. Those are not guarantees. Those are money that get invested into the Wall Street game, and if they're invested well and if the economy is doing well, then you are probably making a profit. But if things aren't going well, you lose your money. You know, the money that you invested is gone. You didn't make any money. Your money is just gone, and so you don't have anything after all those years of working to fall back on. So savings bonds are really the safest way that we have to save money. And you know, you're thinking, well, why can't I just put the money into my savings account? Because when you do that, you'll spend it. By putting it into a savings bond, you are guaranteeing that you can't touch it for a certain amount of time. Okay, so you have to save it. Once it's in there, you don't have a choice. Now, if you're buying something that costs $11, you're not going to be able to find a savings bond for $11. So you are going to have to take responsibility for yourself, and you're going to have to, over time, gather that money up until it's enough to buy, you know, whatever the minimum is that your local banks have running for savings bonds. You know, sometimes it's $500, sometimes you can do $1,000, sometimes, you know, sometimes they have small amounts, sometimes it's like $100. You just have to see what kind of rates and offers they have going, you know. And always, I would say always invest it for the longest period. You know, if they have a 5-year one, invest it for the 5 years. Because usually it's at a higher interest rate that way. You're just going to have to kind of decide for yourself about that. The point is, when you cash the savings bond, don't spend it. Reinvest it into another savings bond and continue to make more money and more money that way. It's just an easy way to make money that you're going to forget that you have and not spend. If you put it in your savings account, you're going to spend it. So it's really that simple. You need to pay cash, and you need to have enough cash to buy 3 of them. 2 of them you're going to buy, one for you and one for somebody else. And if you can't think of somebody else to buy it for that would like it, you don't need it either. And then you need enough money for a 3rd one that you are then going to invest in your future. Okay? It's that simple. So if you have any questions about that, then let me know. But I think it's pretty clear. And I think you can see in the long term how it benefits you in the long term to do that. I think you can also see how you will give better gifts that way, how you'll make smarter choices about what do you really want it that bad, you know. Is it really something that is not just of the moment? Is it really something that other people, you know, if other people would enjoy it, they're probably looking at it on you going, that doesn't look so good too, you know. So it just makes you make smarter decisions. So that's it. Let me know if you have any questions, and keep watching if you are in the business, if you're a makeup artist, if you work behind a counter, if you do direct sales. Keep watching. I've got a video to talk to you guys about, specifically about how I balance that out and how you can balance out what you're spending too. So that's coming up.